Hey y'all, I'm back again with another Pokemon Challenge video. Pokemon Red with only Magmar was a fire run, so this time I'm doing a challenge that's an absolute dumpster fire. I want to see how to beat Pokemon Red using only one Scyther. As usual, the rules are I can only use Scyther in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Scyther is an interesting Pokemon in this game. It has pretty good offensive stats, 110 base attack and 105 base speed are really good. But on the flip side, the move pool is pretty bad. By both level up and TMs, it only gets normal type moves, so we're doing the entire run without any same type attack boost for flying and bug type moves. Also, ghosts are going to be a huge issue in this run for obvious reasons. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Scyther. That way, our rival will pick Charmander. Charizard will easily be the hardest final form starter for Scyther to handle since it knows Fire Blast and Fire Spin. Scyther in later games is able to evolve into Scyther, which is basically a stronger but slower Scyther. So I nicknamed my Scyther, Don't Run with Scissors, because as much as I'd like to, I can't do this run with a scissor. At the end of the last video, I prefaced this one by saying I thought Scyther would be a pretty bad Pokemon to run with, and right away we can kinda see why. Although I guess it's really a mixed bag. Scyther only starts off with Quick Attack, but even so its attack is high enough that that's more than enough to handle the rival Bubs. But sadly, Scyther won't learn another level up move until Leer at level 17, and not another attacking move until Slash at level 29. During the second rival battle with Bubs, his Pidgey hits us with a sand attack to lower our accuracy. We end up missing a lot of quick attacks as a result, but even so, Scyther just does so much damage with the few moves that it does hit that we're able to clean up the battle with relative ease. Charmander won't be a problem until it learns Ember, which won't happen until the second rival fight. From there, I head to the Pewter City Gym to take on Brock, but it's just not possible at this level. Quick Attack hardly does any damage, and since it's our only attack when we get there at level 10, we can't dodge Bite from Onix. We get obliterated until we train Scyther up to level 17 and it learns Leer. With Leer, we can lower his Pokemon's defenses so that Quick Attack will actually do some damage for once. Plus, now when Onix goes for Bide, we just spam Leer and take no damage while also lowering its defense, and it takes a while, especially with Geodude also spamming Defense Curl, but eventually you're easily able to knock out Onix and win the battle. On the whole, it's a pretty consistent one once you have Leer. After passing through Mount Moon, we take on our rival Bubs in Cerulean City. Along the way, Scyther learned Focus Energy, which is supposed to boost your critical hit ratio, but it's actually bugged in this game and instead it lowers your critical hit ratio. So basically it's a useless move, but we don't need it anyways. Quick Attack blasts through Bubs' whole team with relative ease, although Ember from Charmander does hurt quite a bit. Scyther has great attack and speed, but its HP and special stat leave much to be desired, which becomes very obvious as soon as we take on Misty. Her water-type Pokemon's special attacks actually do big damage, and Quick Attack takes out Staryu without much trouble, but Starmie is another story. It does big damage with Water Gun, but then randomly decides to go for Tackle instead, letting us clean up with Quick Attack and win the Cascade Badge. Aboard the SS Anne, we take on the rival Bubs once again, and oh my god, his Pidgeot was such a jerk in this battle. I had to do this one several times because Sand Attack made us miss all of our moves, and even at our higher level, Charmeleon kept taking us out. So I gave that rat bastard a taste of his own medicine and spammed Double Team, a move that Scyther learns by level up. Double Team is actually mentioned in Scyther's Pokedex entry, so that's pretty cool. I would say that Double Team is its signature move, except for the fact that you can buy it as a TM and a lot of Pokemon can learn it. Now it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge, and this battle would actually require us to use Double Team, if not for the fact that Lieutenant Surge is an idiot. His Raichu can 2-hit KO us with either Thunder Shock or Thunderbolt, but instead of doing that, he wastes his first move using an X-Speed, which is especially dumb considering we're using Quick Attack, a move that bypasses speed. At level 29, Scyther learns Slash, and holy cow what an upgrade this is. Critical hit chances are proportional to speed in this game, and since Scyther has 105 base speed, coupled with the increased critical hit chance of Slash, it always lands a critical hit. Think of it this way, we just went from a move that only does 40 base power, to a move that effectively does 140 base power, also ignores type resistances, and defensive stat boost. It should be no surprise, then, that Bubs was a total pushover here. Even his Charmeleon didn't get a chance to attack us. After beating Bubs in the tower, we head to the Celadon City gym to take on Erica, but this gym battle was a total joke. We're a bug and flying type Pokemon, so we double resist her grass type moves, and on top of that, Slash is an easy 2-hit KO on all of her Pokemon. Sleep Powder from Victory Bell is our only real worry, but it poisons us instead, meaning we can't be put to sleep later on. After Erica, I beat up Giovanni in the Game Corner Rocket Hideout to get the Sylph Scope, and now here's the part of the run where things start to get pretty interesting. At Lavender Town in the Pokemon Tower, there are mandatory channelers that have Ghost-type Pokemon, and we can't hit them with anything besides Bide, which is really annoying when they spam Lick, which paralyzes, and Confuse Ray. Luckily though, we won't have to deal with this against Agatha, because once we get the Pokemon Flute and have access to the Sylph Company, we can get Mimic. And anyone that's watched this channel before knows just how great Mimic actually is. Along the way to Koga, we pick up the TM for Swift and replace Quick Attack. It's 50% stronger and never misses. There's not much to say about this battle. Swords Dance and Swift makes quick work of everything, especially when Weezing doesn't actually attack. After that, we head to the Sylph Company to take on the rival Bubs once again. This is an important time to note that Swords Dance is great for boosting our attack, but it's also sometimes necessary for the badge boost to help our defense. Otherwise, Pidgeot will do a lot of damage with Wing Attack and Quick Attack respectively. Also, I'll note again, critical hits ignore all stat boosts in this game, including our own. This means that Slash doesn't get any stronger with Swords Dance, so unfortunately Swift is going to be our strongest move here for a very long time. After beating Bubs, we slap around Giovanni real quick, toss the Master Ball again, and head for the Saffron City gym. Sabrina's Pokemon are physically frail like Lieutenant Surge's, and just like him, her Pokemon prey upon our weak special defense. I grab one Swords Dance and then start attacking because Kadabra hits us with a Psybeam and I don't want to get confused. Venomoth survives a Swift, and could have gone for a Stun Spore, but goes for Poison Powder instead. Alakazam actually survives because of a critical hit, which remember, ignores our stat boosts. It's always a challenge using boosted moves in these runs with faster Pokemon, because the chance to crit and ignore our stat boost is that much higher. This issue rears its ugly head once more when we take on Blaine. Rapidash knows Fire Spin, and even worse, his Arcanine knows Fire Blast, which is bad news bears for Scyther. So I have to set up all 3 Swords Dances with Scyther on his Growlithe to even stand a chance. Growlithe therefore always gets 2 free Embers and also chances to burn us, but you can see on this run it actually got a 3rd free one because we got a critical hit and it survived. It's kind of a weird feeling that a lot of these battles come down to us not getting critical hits. Well, it's time to take on Giovanni for the final gym badge, and while I skipped showing the other battles because they were super easy, this one's, well, also easy. Swords Dance is a great move, even when we can only use normal type moves against his rock type Pokemon who resist. We set up Swords Dances and start blasting through his Pokemon, although Rhyhorn and Nidoking both get to stick around longer than necessary, thanks once again to those unwanted critical hits ignoring our attack boost. Seriously, it's such a pain that Swift is really our best option for an attacking move at this point in the game. And yes, I know you can teach Scyther Takedown and Double Edge, but honestly any move that has recoil damage just doesn't work in a solo Pokemon challenge run when conserving HP is super important. Oh yeah, by the way, we beat Giovanni and get the last badge. Contrary to normal, the rival fight afterwards with Bubs was actually pretty easy as well. First out is his Pidgeot, and since it knows Wing Attack, I forego setting up Swords Dance and just use Slash to quickly knock it out before taking too much damage. Then comes out the Rhyhorn, and since it really doesn't do a whole lot, I take this opportunity to set up the Swords Dances. It takes a couple of Swifts to knock it out, but after that the rest of his Pokemon go down to a single Swift each. Besides waiting until Rhyhorn to set up Swords Dance, the only strategy here is to pray you don't land any critical hits, especially against the Charizard. Before heading to the Elite Four, I head to the Celadon City Game Corner to get the TM for Hyper Beam. I had to trade 5,500 coins for it, so that basically wipes out all of our money. But this move is seriously broken for Scyther. It's the strongest move in the game period at 150 base power. Plus, it's bugged in Pokemon Red, so that if you pick up a knockout with Hyper Beam, it skips the recharge turn that's normally a drawback. With 3 Swords Dances, there isn't a single Pokemon on Lorelei's team that can survive a Hyper Beam. Aurora Beam from Dugong does big damage, but you know, badge boosts are a thing, and the rest of her team goes down pretty easily. That battle was pretty consistent, even at our lower level, And with Bruno, the good times keep on a-rollin'. He leads off with Onix, which does no Rock Throw, a double super effective move on Scyther. However, it's got awful accuracy, plus Onix has some pretty booty attack, and on top of all of that, it often locks itself into Rage, which is just the pits. So it's not hard to set up Swords Dances here and pull a clean sweep through the rest of his entire team using Hyper Beam, which again is insane that it doesn't require a recharge turn if you knock them out. Even with Machamp surviving somehow, it doesn't really matter, and we clean up the battle and move along to take on Agatha. Yet, with all good things, they must come to an end. In order to get enough money to buy coins for Hyper Beam, I sold all the TMs we picked up during the run that Scyther couldn't learn. However, I made a huge mistake, and I accidentally sold the TM for Mimic. With Mimic, we would normally copy Wing Attack from the Golbat, and then Swords Dance and Sweep, since flying type moves for whatever reason are able to hit ghost types, but a normal move can't, which obviously doesn't make any sense. So now I have a huge issue, because while Bide will let us hit the ghost types, we don't have enough HP to actually make this work at our level. I wasn't sure if this was even possible anymore, so I did the math. Using the Pokemon damage calculator, I found that the HP of her ghost are as follows. Her level 56 Gengar has 177 HP, the level 55 Haunter has 157 HP, and the level 60 Gengar has 189 HP. Since Bide does double the damage we take, at minimum, we need to take exactly 2 Nightshades for each ghost. Since Nightshade does the same damage as the user's level, that means we need to take 342 HP worth of damage, and not a single point more. I leveled up our Scyther to level 100, and unfortunately, Scyther only had 312 HP. But there's still hope. At level 100, a Scyther with perfect genetics and maxed HP stat experience will have exactly 343 HP, 1 point more than what we need to beat Agatha with Bide. So that's what I did. Since I'm actually playing this on an original Pokemon Red cartridge, I had to do some fancy file management shenanigans in order to modify Scyther's DV values, but if you don't understand what that is or you don't care, don't worry and don't get all bent out of shape. Let's just all agree that with Swords Dance and Mimic, Agatha is easily beatable, so it doesn't really matter that we're doing this. It was just really important for me to be able to finish this run and have video so you can all see Scyther getting into the Hall of Fame. Besides, even with all of this, I still had to actually beat Agatha using this strategy, which is a total nightmare because we're at the mercy of Confuse Ray and Hypnosis, and remember, we can't take a single point of damage outside of the Nightshades we need for Bide. So with the amount of attempts it required, I honestly probably would have been better off just playing through the whole game again, but that's not what I did. Obviously, at level 100, Swords Dance is enough to blast through Lance, and really, this last battle with the Champion Bubs, I normally say it's the climactic battle, but this time it's pretty anticlimactic. In reality, Agatha was the true champion of this run. And for anyone that has any doubts, just remember how easily we took out Lorelei, who is arguably the hardest of all of these Pokemon trainers, besides Agatha, of course. Anyways, Swords Dance and Hyper Beam is just insanely overpowered, and I honestly feel kind of bad for him. He spent all that time training up the best Pokemon, and this genetically modified freak came in and just wrecked his entire team. Scyther obliterates all of his Pokemon with the power of Exodia, and I'm a charitable man, so I decide to go for 1 Bide against the Charizard just to give him a chance. He ends up hitting me with a Fire Spin, and then with a Fire Blast, actually bringing us down to pretty low health, and I start shaking in my boots, so I decide to just finish things off with an Atomic Hyper Beam. And with that, the challenge is over. Honestly, Agatha being the true champion is kind of weird. And beating her the way we did was legitimately the hardest thing I've ever done in any Pokemon game ever. Harder than the Voltorb run, harder than qualifying for the Pokemon World Championships, and harder than not mashing the A button while healing your Pokemon at the Pokemon Center. I seriously contemplated giving this one up altogether on several occasions, but I'm glad I stuck it out. This run had everything too. A weirdly unbalanced Pokemon with a terrible moveset, math equations, and plenty of crying. Seriously though, I want to thank all of you for making it to the end of this video. These videos, as always, are a lot of fun, and also a lot of work, and this one especially was a real labor of love. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. As always, if you like this run, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you know right away the next time one of these episodes is released. For the very next episode, I'll be trying to beat Pokemon Red using only one Drowsy. Let me know in the comments though what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Hopefully whatever it is, it's an easier time than the time I had trying to beat Pokemon Red with only one Scyther. Although, like many things in life, I made it much harder on myself. Anyways, until next time, bye!